Hey guys, it's Anna from Kaiju Bites. So I'm going to go over some of my thoughts about Game of Thrones. And just to be warned, if you haven't seen the last and final episode, then spoilers are ahead. So, like many people, I have, watched Game of Thrones. Not from the start. I'm not a huge TV watcher, so I actually asked my friend about it, and he actually told me that it was a book. And so while they're watching the TV show, I actually went and picked up the book, and I fell in love with the book, and then I started watching the TV show. And so, and I felt like everything up to throughout the seasons have been pretty good. But yeah, I have to agree with a lot of people, ever since they ran out of J.R.R.'s material, it's gone downhill a little bit. There was a lot going on this last season, but there was a lot that just didn't happen. And I'm torn. I guess I'll just say this, this last season doesn't destroy my love for Game of Thrones. I will always love Game of Thrones. I will always, the TV show has been super important in my life, and the books have been as well. And I understand, the difference in the medium, and that, of course, they can't put everything in the books into a TV show. It's just not feasible. But I also understand that sometimes, I don't know, I just feel like D&D just got really lazy with their writing in Season 7 and Season 8, and it's definitely prevalent in Season 8. I think they rushed, which is we had 2 years, why rush? Why rush it? Why don't you take care of the plot, or just give us 10 full episodes, and I think, I can't remember who said this. I'm not sure if it was one of my friends or if it was one of these chat groups or a YouTube channel, but I think they believe that the fans absolutely loved the battle scene so much that they started going away from giving us the political intrigue and the storylines, and started giving us more battles. And I think that's a big fallacy in their thinking. Yeah, I love Battle of the Bastards. I love, some of the other big battles, but I don't need a Battle of the Bastards every freaking episode. Part of what I loved about the storylines was just the story itself, And I think they kind of just was oh, let's just do this, let's do this, let's do this. And I'm grateful that they did so much with the battles on screen, but I think they kind of lost the sense of why people watch Game of Thrones, and so yeah, the writing was very poor this season. I mean, there were certain things that I watched in episode 8, and I was oh, that's cool, and I'm oh, that's not bad, and I'm yeah, I can kind of see that, but overall the writing is really it was pretty bad this season, but I still loved a lot of things they did. And I know some people the whole conclusion of character arcs, I know one thing was Jaime's, him rushing back to Cersei, and I think that Jaime had to go back to Cersei. I think that's part of him, and I just wish they'd done it in a different way. And I think George R.R. Martin, when he writes finishes the books, I think their arc is going to be completely different and make a lot more sense than what it did in the TV show. And I know Dany was Dany was, it's tough for Dany, because I think I saw them trying to go with the Mad Queen vibe early on, but I think how they did it was not the way it should have been done. I think either they should have had 1 or 2 more episodes of her just going, the downward spiral, and not just she's always been kind of hot-tempered and fire and blood, and I'm going to burn cities to the ground, and you kind of always saw that, but she was either kind of reined in by either her advisors, or she just cooled down and was okay, listen to her advisors. And And I'm like, yeah, her arc was probably the weakest. And Jon Snow, oh my gosh, like, you know, he's been pumped up as the hero, and he didn't do anything really. I mean, I think they kind of tried with a little bit of the Azor Ahai-ness, you know, but that's like something they never even, like, the magic and prophecies in the TV show have been so, like, kind of, like, they've been introduced, but I think, like, after they ran out of, like, George's material, they really didn't know how to handle it. I mean, they never knew how to handle the warging properly or explain, like, the importance of warging. I mean, and so I think, like, yeah. Like, there were some character arcs I did enjoy. Theon's. My boy Theon. Like, yeah, you started to, like, kind of dislike him because he's kind of a punk, but then and then he turns into, like, evil Theon, and then he turns into Reek, but I think his story arc had one of the best in the whole TV show. And, you know, like, Arya, there's so many Arya fangirls and fanboys out there, but, like, I felt like her story arc was kind of okay, but it was still weak in the TV show. I think it's going to be a heck of a lot more stronger in the books. Sansa's I actually was okay with. Like, I felt like Sansa did her thing, and so many people hate Sansa, but I don't know. I give it to the girl. She played the game and she won in a way. I mean, she's not Queen of Westeros, but she's Queen in the North, you know. And I mean, there were so many other, like, Melisandre's arc I was okay with. I felt that ended well, and I thought there would be more of the, like, I think that's one thing they kind of dropped is the whole, like, red god, like, plot line, you know. I thought when she was going back to the east that she was going to bring a lot of the other, like, red witches with her, and then they would, like, have, like, a really fancy, like, battle in Battle for Winterfell, you know, with the magic and the White Walkers and stuff, but we got nothing. And that was disappointing. Like, I feel like in the books the White Walkers are going to be, or the others, you know, are going to be definitely, like, not as, like, zombie dead, you know, and then they die just like that, you know. And if there is a Night King in the books, it definitely was not going to turn out like that. I don't know. I mean, I just feel like some parts of it they did well, and then some parts they just kind of just dropped the ball on. And does it make, like, some people are like, oh, well, I'm glad that I didn't get invested. I was like, no, get invested. It's still it's a great show. I mean, it just had kind of a lackluster ending. I mean, because, I mean, like, if you look at the performances by, like, the lady who played Catelyn Stark, and, I mean, the acting has always been phenomenal. Like, even in this season, like, the acting has been superb. Like when Amelia, what is her last name, Clark, like, snaps, like, in the Bells episode, I mean, her face was just perfect. I mean, so acting-wise, everyone did a terrific job. But yeah, I mean, I still love it. Like, I will rewatch it over again. I'll probably skip over some of the stuff that I don't really want to rewatch, but I have to say, you know, despite the kind of crappy ending, I still love it. Oh, Bran, I forgot to go, Bran, duh. So that was the one thing that I was like, WTF, like, what just happened here? Like, and some people were like, well, they were kind of trying to introduce the whole puppet master, like, Bran is a puppet master, and I'm like, I don't know, like, it's like, that's another thing, like, if you're going to introduce that kind of, like that and Dany's, like, descent into madness, like, those are two things that you should have, like, kind of wove into your story a little bit better. Like, just Bran just been like, I am robot, I processing everything I got from the weirwood trees. But it's like, okay, we get that. Well, what is he going to do after he processes all this information? He does nothing. Absolutely nothing. And it's like, but then at the end, he's like, yeah, I'll be king. Put that crown on my head. And it's just like, okay, where did this come from? You know, and that was the one thing that I was kind of like, you know, I don't mind him being the king. I would rather have a better way to present, like, where did he go when he went, like, all, like, you know, cyberborg? you know, Werewitch Reborg. So that's like the thing that I wish that was better written, but I know that they have such a tough time with doing the magic and the warging. But yeah, I mean, there's things that I absolutely love about the show, and there's things I dislike. But yeah, I mean, if you haven't seen Game of Thrones and you just want, like, and you just hear all the negativity, I still would watch it. I still think it's a terrific show. It just has kind of a lackluster ending, and I really hope George will definitely finish. Like, I'm really hoping that he'll finish up the books. I hope, because it has to be, the ending just has to be different. But you know, I give it to the crew. I mean the filming crew and the acting crew. I mean, they did a completely amazing job. I mean, they've done stuff on horseback and CGI that is just incredible. So I guess my take is I still love the show, despite all its faults. I just wish, you know, I don't know, maybe D&D needed more homework to copy off of George. Maybe that's what it was. But I love it. I still love it, even though it probably sounds like I don't. But I definitely, like, I mean, I've rewatched the episodes from this season, and you know, like, I still enjoy it. Like, it's I have to say, probably like the one season that I like. What season was all that, like, Danny and Quaithe and Where Are My Dragons? That season I probably watched the least of all the seasons. But anyways, guys, I love Game of Thrones. I love the books. I hope he can write another one, or I hope he finishes, actually. But for my birthday, which is not, he's not going to finish it up by 3 weeks from now, but I just hope he finishes. Like, I hope 2019 is the year that he finishes The Winds of Winter, because I can't wait, because there's so many characters in the books that just weren't able to be on this TV screen and would influence the plot in other ways. But until next time, see you guys later. Probably my next movie review will hopefully be Godzilla. Oh yeah, because I mean, we saw John Wick 3, but I'm not really into, like, that's not my genre. That's not it's not nerdy. And I was like okay with it, but anyways, hopefully my next movie review will be Godzilla. We actually got early screening tickets for next Tuesday. So until next time, guys, hit subscribe, hit like, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.